Mike Moore.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV from Leda Lanes. In Nashua, New Hampshire, Dick Lutz with Mike Morin. It is week 2 of our 5th ladder series as we seek another member of our elite bowlers in our Tournament of Champions at the end of the year, and this is the 2nd week of this 5th ladder series.
And it only goes up from here as far as the direction of the ladder. Steve Vadney is the 3rd seed. You'll see him today with Kevin Davis. Ken Davis, I'm sorry. No, Kevin Davis. And then we have Sean Baker at number 2. Rich Clark sits atop the ladder at number 1.
And last week we saw Kevin Davis, our number 5 seed, defeat Jason Esalonis by a score of 374 to 360. Let's meet our bowlers this afternoon. First, our number 5 seed, last week's winner, Kevin Davis from Pembroke, New Hampshire.
Yes, it was a close match, but in the end, Kevin really came through in the last couple of frames of the 3rd game, averaging 121, a high single of 201. High triple for Kevin Davis is 483. King Lanes in Manchester is his bowling center home.
And he takes on a man who has more airtime than Mike Morin does over the past several years. He's been on TV 80 times over the past several years. Steve Vadney from Claremont, New Hampshire.
And that doesn't include some in the Nest and other shows. Those are just the 2 major bowling shows. Steve Vadney, 122 average, high single of 197. Steve's high triple is 488, as you have a look at him bowling right there. He bowls at Sunset Lanes in Newport, New Hampshire, bowling 31 years.
And it is the 2nd week of our 5th ladder series. We have 4 members in our Tournament of Champions thus far. We'll talk about that when we come back after this break as we get set for today's match between Kevin Davis and Steve Vadney. Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues from Leda Lanes in Nashua right after this.
Candlepin Bowling is being brought to you in part by Salad Master. It is easier to stay well than it is to get well. Insist on Salad Master cookware.
There you see the 5 bowlers who began this ladder series last week. Kevin Davis, the 5th seed, beating number 4, Jason Esalonis. Now Steve Vadney taking on Kevin Davis this afternoon in the 2nd match of the series, and we're ready to go. It'll be Kevin Davis first to bowl in this match at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dick Lutz with Mike Morin. Happy to have you with us for Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. And the first ball of the match.
Kevin scores last week 140, 105, and 129 for a 374 triple over Mr. Esalonis.
And he starts out with a 9 box.
Now this will be Kevin's 16th appearance on WNDS, the only bowling show he's ever appeared on. There's the 3, 6, and the 10. Wood falling off into the channel. 6-pin just a little bit off spot.
$1,025 in the triple strike jackpot as we start today's match. Jason Esalonis put 2 strikes together last week and had a shot at that $1,000 prize, but was unable to put 3 in a row, but gave us all a little bit of a thrill. Steve Vadney's first ball of the match. He's been on TV a lot.
Yeah, last time we saw him was back in late 1997. Started out as the number 5 seed, interestingly enough defeating Sean Baker, who is next on the ladder. So it's possible we could see a repeat of Sean Baker and Steve Vadney if Steve goes ahead and beats Ken Davis today, but that's a long way to go before that possibility. Bit of imbalance there at the foul line is the 4 horsemen on the left side and the 9-pin in the back row for Steve Vadney. 2nd frame.
On the head pin, but unable to convert.
.247 remain.
And he'll pick up a 9 box. Match dead even after 2. Candlepin bowling is a game of streaks.
Well, we saw that last week for sure.
You can go, it seems, forever without a mark, and then you can just bunch them up. And that'll be a 7 box. So Kevin's first 3 boxes progressively worse, a 9, an 8, and a 7. Shudder to think what might be next. So does he. More so than I.
It'll be a mark.
Well, he'll have a shot at it.
That looks to be the 3, the 8, and the 10 with wood all over the place. Well, a couple pieces remaining on the deck anyway.
We'll continue to read some mail we've received over the past several weeks. And will he get it to go? Yes, he will, as Mike Moran predicted a mark for Kevin Davis in the 4th frame. Charlie Kulovich of Marlborough, Massachusetts writes in inquiring about the correct pronunciation of the bowling establishment in which we are currently seated. It is spelled L-E-D-A, and that's where the misunderstanding could come from. As Steve Vadney converts the spare.
Well, you weren't pronouncing it leader lanes, were
you? With
the
New England accent, you might think I'm saying leader, but it being leader, L-E-A-D-E-R. And leaving the R's off, as New Englanders are wont to do.
Or adding them where they shouldn't be.
Vadney on the spare. In the second pocket, pin, the 2-pin danced but didn't go down.
So the correct pronunciation is?
As we have been saying it, Leda, L-E-D-A. And he'll miss the head pin. He has a little reverse spin on his ball. And he will pick up a 9 and still a 9. If you did not know and you heard someone say Leda Lanes, you would think that it is the New England pronunciation of leader. That is not the case.
Well, we have very observant viewers. People writing in about trademarks on bowling pins and now pronunciation of the bowling center. 6 bill on Kevin's 4th frame spare, and he's got kind of an ugly combination left. He'll miss them all for only 7 and a 47.5 for our last week winner, Kevin Davis. Step up to lane 33.
A 47.5 with the mark. That time on the head pin, but still leaving a difficult shot. Want to talk to you about the Kahala Chinese Restaurant and Lounge right next door to Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire, where we go every time we come to tape our Candlepin Stars and Strikes broadcasts. We'll be heading over there for lunch today. Kahala Chinese Restaurant and Lounge offers takeout, delivery, a delicious luncheon buffet, which we enjoy every time, a beautiful banquet facility, and entertainment. Make sure you talk with Andy or Mona or Sandy, and you give them a call at 889-5200 in Nashua, or fax your order at 889-5202. The Kahala Chinese Restaurant and Lounge is right next door to Leda Lanes in Nashua. If you're coming from the south, you take exit 7W off the Everett Turnpike. If you're coming from the north, take exit 8. And if you found Leda Lanes, you have found the Kahala Chinese Restaurant and Lounge right next door. 350 Amherst Street, Route 101A in Nashua. Again, the phone number for takeout, 889-5200. Make sure the next time you're in Nashua, you stop by the Kahala Chinese restaurant and lounge.
Pronounced Kahala.
Ending with an A.
That's it. Well, last week, Dick, the matches were peppered with strikes. We've only seen 2 spares so far in a total of almost 12 frames.
And a spare for Steve Vadney. In the 6th frame. $10 in the bonus ball contest. We had a cash winner last weekend. And we started all over again 2 weeks in a row, as a matter of fact. We've had winners in the bonus ball contest. You can participate by sending your postcard with your name, address, and pick a number 1 to 10, 0 through 10 for that matter. However many pins you feel the bowler will knock down. Our winning bowler after every match rolls the bonus ball, and we match it up with a postcard. Will it go? Will it go? Yes, it will!
That was the longest spread eagle conversion in the history of Candlepin bowling.
You never give up on it. Never turn your back on the pins.
Look at this.
It took a U-turn and didn't take that long in the replay, obviously. And it's followed up with a strike. Momentum moves to the side of Kevin Davis after picking up that spread eagle spare. And now Steve Vadney.
So we've seen spread eagles converted in 2 of the last 3 weeks, or 4 weeks, something like that.
Vadney on the head pin.
And that shot is a momentum stopper for Steve Vadney, unless he can pick it up.
Unable to do so. He will pick up a 9 box. Box to box, a 2-pin differential, but he's up against a Kevin Davis strike in the 8th frame. Right on the head pin, a little too full. Can't break up the spare. Again, send your bonus ball postcard to Leda Lanes, 340 Amherst Street, Nashua, New Hampshire. And we will draw cards and try to match you up with our winning bowler.
Happened last week.
A 7 box for Steve Vadney in the 8th frame. And now Kevin Davis, $1,025 in the triple strike jackpot. He's 1/3 of the way there. Right on the head pin.
Nasty split.
Our WNDS TV 50 crew working here at Leda Lanes today. Our director is Larry Taylor. Working audio is Ken Knight. On the tape machine is Dave McCarthy. The graphics handled by Lisa Law. Video, Paul Hunter. Our camera crew today, Steve Giordani and Kevin LaFond. Making it all possible at Leda Lanes in Nashua for you to watch Candlepin Stars and Strikes, and we appreciate their efforts. A lot goes into making it possible for you to watch these shows week after week. It's something that just doesn't happen. It takes a lot of people, a lot of man hours, and the efforts don't go unnoticed.
If you'd like to see how it's done behind the scenes, come on down for a future taping, and I can tell you when the next one is. Tuesday, the 9th of March. We start at 10 in the morning at Leda Lanes, go till about 4 in the afternoon, and it's fun to watch. You can meet the bowlers personally. Join us for lunch at the Kahala. Dick usually buys, so there's a free lunch for you.
113 first string for Kevin Davis. Notice how I ignored that.
I noticed that, yeah. You're just much too modest a man, Dick.
Blew right past that one. Vadney on the head pin. Spread eagle. Popular shot. Let's see if he can match it. As Kevin Davis converted it a couple of boxes ago, Vadney on the pin will not get the action. $10 for Steve Vadney,
who's by no means out of this match. A mark and a good fill puts him within 4 or 5 pins of Kevin Davis starting the 2nd game.
There is the mark opportunity, almost a strike, but a very makeable spare. he has to do is keep the ball on the alley. And he did that. A spare in the 10th. We will be virtually even going to the second string. 102 plus whatever he gets on this ball, a possible 112 for Steve Vadney if he strikes here. Off the head pin, he'll put 6 in it. A 108, a 109, a 110.
Keep going.
It's a 110 first string for Steve Vadney. A 3-pin lead for Kevin Davis going to string number 2 of this match on Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashville. We're back on WNDS TV right after this. Steve Vadney will start off the second string, trailing Kevin Davis by 3 pins, 113 to 110. The score in string number 1 of our 3-string match on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Dick Lutz with Mike Morin. From Leda Lanes, Ray Simoneau and Sean Howard. Ray, the proprietor, Sean, the manager, do a great job at Leda Lanes. And our fans who come here every week. There's a spare for Steve Vadney, starting off the second string. The fans who come to our taping, we've said it time and again, and I continue to marvel as I look out. They have a great time. They get here early in the morning, they spend the day, and they just have a terrific time.
I mean, they get there, Dick, 2 hours before we start, many of them, to get a good seat.
Vadney put 6 in the spare.
And to Ray Simoneau's credit, he's added bleachers. He's added large screen TVs off to the side for those whose seats aren't quite as good as yours at home is. And has given every creature comfort he could for this many people coming to see our broadcast.
Coffee and donuts provided.
Yeah.
And it's just a great, it's very rewarding to watch the reaction of the fans and the great time that they have. An 8-box for Steve Vadney. Got a terrific letter here from Mr. Roger McClure of Kingston, New Hampshire. And I'm going to read it to you in just a second here as Kevin Davis starts off the second string. The wife and I enjoy the bowling very much. I started bowling in New Brunswick, Canada when I was 14, 80 years ago.
Oh,
you do the math.
Wow.
Never set the world on fire. Then the pins were wood, about 1 1/4 inches in diameter, and when chipped on the ends were saved to get new ones. When chipped, the ends were chipped. Would chip the end on the ends. They were saved to get new ones. The balls were hardwood and would get warped, and at times one would split in half. A 90 average was tops, and the price was 10 cents a string or 3 for a quarter. Pin boys got 4 cents a string. Things are sure different today.
They got 4 cents out of the 10? Who was making any money?
That's what it says.
Wow. That's pretty amazing.
Kevin Davis with a mark in the second string. Thanks again for your comments and bringing us a good show. By the way, used to bowl with Gary Carrington's father, Frank. He was very good also. And of course, those of you who have been watching Candlepin Stars and Strikes know that Gary Carrington has been a regular participant and won the Tournament of Champions last year.
And I know his father from up there at Pilgrim Lanes in Haverhill.
Vadney with a strike. Missing the head pin on the fill, but still has another ball to fill the strike. Letters like that are terrific.
It really is kind of a living history of the Candlepin bowling game for people our age that weren't around 90 years ago. Although Dick and I are feeling a little bit older, we both celebrated birthdays this past week.
I stopped this, I don't have them anymore.
You don't?
I stopped counting.
Well, I'm going to remind you that you do, because mine is one day after yours.
Kevin Davis filling a spare with 8.
Bowling 25 of his 31 years.
2 spares in a row, looking for some bonus money. You were going to talk about a charity event that you were involved in a few weeks back.
Yes, let me get my notes out on that. Do that
right
after
in the
break.
pocket that time, putting 8 in the spare again, and here's a $50 shot for Kevin Davis. And he picked the 5-pin right off the 8. We'll take a break. It's a very close match. It's Kevin Davis and Steve Vadney at Leda Lanes in Nashua. Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues right after this. Ready to go. Steve Vadney is all set to bowl in the 5th frame of the 2nd string. 6 pins separate the 2 bowlers, with Kevin Davis in the lead. Led by 3 after 1, has added 3 to that. And here is Steve Vadney. Full on the head pin.
The fundraiser that you alluded to before the commercial break was in honor or to help out the family of Norm Burke, well-known Candlepin bowling from the Merrimack Valley out of Pilgrim Lanes in the last year or so.
As Vadney gets a 7 box.
Normie was diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease, and you can imagine not only the emotional devastation, but financially too, all the hospital bills. So a number of bowlers got together, Dick, for a bit of a bowling exhibition back in January. And the teams, it was actually a doubles match featuring the Morgans, Tom and Mike, against Mike and Chris Sargent. Mike, of course, being Chris Sargent's father. We saw Chris a couple of weeks ago on the show. It was 5 strings.
Spare for Vadney in the 6th box.
5 strings doubles, or 5 strings, I should say, and the winners were the Sargents, 13-21 to 12-59 against the Morgans. It was a great time. We had a couple hundred people, raised about $1,100 or so. I guess money is still coming in.
Kevin Davis buries a strike in the 6th frame.
If you would like to help out Norm Burke, you can make a contribution in care of Pilgrim Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts, and they'll make sure the money gets to his family, and we thank you.
On the head pin in the 6th frame, as that was a 5th frame strike for Davis. Watch out, not going to get there. He'll put 8 in his strike. And he'll take a 10 box. Now Steve Vadney working on a spare. He has 3 marks in the 2nd string, as does Kevin Davis. Very tight match. On the spare for Vadney. The 5 and the 7 still stand. What is beneficial to him?
Will he do a cut shot, or will he go inside, Dick?
Inside is the way to go. That's the way I would have gone, and it didn't take it.
Ball never deflected to take out the piece of wood in front of the 7-pin, which stands alone. '47-year-old Steve Vadney, over 100 television appearances. Still working at Sturm Ruger in Newport, manufacturer of firearms, I believe. Don't know much about guns myself, but I believe that's what they do.
And they've been doing it for years.
Among his hobbies, horseshoes, softball, and classic cars. He and his son, Dick, own a 1966 Mustang.
And a great spare as well is what Steve Vadney owns after that shot in the 8th frame. Well done. Watch it again. Terrific shot for Vadney. Well, I'm envious of Steve in one area here. His daughter Jennifer just graduated Bryant College in 1998. My daughter Andrea graduates from UNH this May. Steve has one more to go, though. He's got a son, Steve, who's at Bentley College.
Oh, could we pick any more expensive schools to go to?
He had 2 at one time. 9 box for Davis.
1966 Mustang. I had a 1967 Mustang Fastback, one of the loudest cars I ever heard.
You got about 7 miles a gallon in that thing, didn't you? Something like that?
If I was lucky.
Yeah. I said miles a gallon, not gallons a mile.
Well, look at this, back-to-back spread eagles. I think we're setting the record today for spread eagles in a 3-game match. Yet the match is surprisingly close.
And with the mark Vadney has in the 8th frame, it should tighten things up even more. And that will be an 8 box for Kevin Davis. He's at 100. Vadney is at 97 plus a ball. This match is just about dead even. Eight pins in the spare. Vadney's actually taken the lead. And a spare for Steve Vadney in the 9th box. He has a two-pin lead plus a spare. Right in the pocket, the 5-pin stands.
That could have easily been a double strike. Both solid pocket hits. The 5-8 last time and the 5 alone this time.
$50 shot here for Steve Vadney. $50 in bonus money. He's at 134 plus a ball.
That's quite an improvement from his 110 first game effort.
6 marks in the 2nd string for Steve Vadney. A pin fell down on the reset. They'll reset one more time.
The 8-pin fell. Well, considering Steve Vadney had a 59.5, take a look at what he's put together here for the second 5 frames. It's going to turn out to be nearly a 90.5, depending on the fill right here.
On the head pin, spread eagle breaks up, but 6-pin fill and a 140 second string for Steve Vadney. Now Kevin Davis has his work cut out for him. On the head pin is Davis. A 9-pin drop.
Looked to be a little extra zip on that ball. As he got
the mark here.
Wake-up call from Steve Vadney with 3 marks in a row.
He'll take it on the rebound. Backdoor spare for Kevin Davis. And he plays with the crowd a little bit.
Big smile.
knows where that one came from. Now fills it. On the head pin. The 7 and the 8. With a piece of wood that he might have to play and take a chance.
Use it as a guide, see what happens.
Here it is. Almost. Be a 127 second string. A 10-pin lead for Steve Vadney going to the 3rd and final string of this match on Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Lido Lanes in Nashua. We're back on WNDS TV right after this. The 2 bowlers, Kevin Davis and Steve Vadney. It'll be Davis leading off the 3rd and final string on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Dick Lutz with Mike Morin, our entire WNDS TV 50 crew here at Lido Lanes. Happy to have you with us. We appreciate your spending a part of your afternoon watching Candlepin bowling. A tradition in New England for how many years now, Michael? 40 years?
On television?
Yeah.
Yes, 40 years, a little better than that.
Kevin just missed the spare, has to take a 10 box to start out. On WNDS, this is the 15th season of Candlepin bowling. and it's going strong.
Nice story about Candlepin bowling in a recent Boston Globe article written by Bella English.
Talks about the resurgence.
I think they kind of call it a retro sport. In other words, going back with a lot of the other retro trends of the 60s and 70s, bowling peaked in the early 60s, and now people are rediscovering it.
And in different forms. They have lunch leagues. They have different kind of light shows.
Oh, yes, cosmic bowling, atomic bowling, rock and bowl.
Vadney starts out with a strike in the third string. That time he missed the head pin, but
a little too careful steering that shot to the left of the head pin, leaving the 1, 3, 7, and the 8.
On the head pin, has a shot at it, punched it through, and left the 3-pin standing. As we've mentioned before, and we'll mention it again, we'd love to hear from you and perhaps your bowling experiences and something new in the world of bowling. You can write to Candlepin Stars and Strikes, WNDS TV, 50 Television Place, Derry, New Hampshire, 03038. We try to read as many of the cards and letters on the air as we possibly can. It's great to hear from you.
None of this email stuff. We want good old-fashioned snail mail.
Spend the 33 cents, right?
That's right. Email is great for some things, but we like the personal touch. That's what's great about this game. It hasn't gone high-tech. I don't know, maybe that's a problem, or I don't know, but it...
Well, it has in some way. We talk about the fog shows that they have and the light shows that they have,
sure,
and some of the something to attract the kids, and the music. Some of the bowling centers have very loud music playing for the kids at night, and the kids love it. It's 3 10s to start out the third string for Kevin Davis. He needs marks, not 10s. Head pin that time, breaks up the split and has a makeable spare.
One of the first bowling centers to do the rock and bowl back in the 80s was my friends at Acton Bowlodrome. Bob and Sharon Sundberg. I was involved with their business for a few years, doing the party every Saturday night, and I tell you, when we started it, you couldn't get in the door. And now there's different variations of it, as you pointed out.
4 10s in a row for Kevin Davis. That's right on Route 27, is it not?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
27 and 111. They run a nice business there. Where I did my first Candlepin bowling when I moved here to New England.
Vadney on the head pin. He's found the range a little bit. Bella English writes in the Globe about bowling, forget the image of the paunchy bald guys in Joe's Auto Body shirts carrying their bowling bags to the alley. Today, you're just as likely to see a family or a group of college students or even an office party at your local bowling alley.
Birthday parties are huge on weekends, too. That's a great way. If you're looking for something different for your child, for a dozen friends, almost every bowling center has birthday party packages on the weekends.
Vadney puts 9 in the spare and has another spare opportunity. Just the 10 pin.
Whoops.
Not able to convert. Has to take a 9 box as we go to the break. Steve Vadney has the lead. It's a 27-pin lead for Vadney with 6 boxes remaining in this match on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. We're right back after this. Kevin Davis moves to the line on lane 34 at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. 6 boxes remain, a 27-pin lead for Steve Vadney, the 3rd seed over the 5th seed. Davis advanced with a win over Jason Esalonis last week. We were talking about an article in the Boston Globe, January 23rd Globe, written by Bella English, as Davis, unable to convert the spare, just missed. And he'll take a 9 box. That breaks his string of 10s. He had 4 10s in a row, and now a 9 box, a 49 half. At lanes and games on Route 2 in Cambridge, writes Bella English. League players include children, men, and women. There are mixed leagues, including a gay league. The old rap was that bowling alleys were dark and smoky and rough. Says owner Joe Martinetti, the crowd certainly isn't like that. It's good, clean fun. We do a lot of corporate parties, lots of software firms, law firms, department stores. The Boston Celtics front office and coaching staff have been there 2 years in a row. So a very diverse crowd, a very real cross-section of people coming back to bowling, and it's great to see.
Of course, we liked bowling when bowling wasn't cool.
Really, it's true. Well, actually, no, when I was a kid, bowling was cool. Bowling kids...
Yeah. Well, it was talking the 60s when bowling was peaking.
It was great. It was the thing to do. I mean, we did it. It was a religion. We did it every weekend. It was a given. It wasn't a question of what you were going to do on the weekend. You were going to bowl.
Now, did you have your own set of bowling balls at that time?
Never did.
Now, having grown up in Detroit, of course, bowling 10-pin, you only had one ball, and it was 16 pounds, and you'd strap it on the handlebars of your bike, and you'd ride a mile and a half, and you'd be dead by the time you got there, but you couldn't wait to bowl on the weekends.
There's Vadney in the pocket with a strike, as he is really putting the pressure on now.
I remember as a kid riding my bike about 10 miles to watch a bowling show that originated in suburban Detroit called Beat the Champ, that aired at 1 o'clock every night.
Now the 5-7 still stand for Kevin Davis. He needs that wood to stay on the lane and get back into an area close to the 5-pin. He's watching it. You see him muttering to himself a little bit right there, waiting for that pin to perhaps come back, but it's not going to. He's going to play the pin. It goes into the gutter. That won't count. And it'll be a 9 box for Kevin Davis. And time is about running out on Kevin. That time in the pocket, the 5-pin still stands. He has had some real solid shots. And he'll take the spare in the 8th frame. His first mark of the 3rd string.
Yet he's only left 2 pins standing. So he's been pinning very well. But you need marks because Steve Vadney's put 4 of them on the board through 6 frames.
A chance for $50 in bonus money for Vadney right here. In the pocket again. The 8-pin somehow avoided all the traffic and is still standing. A $50 shot for Vadney right here. Put it in the bank.
He's locked in, isn't he, Dick?
Yeah, he's found the range. He really has found the range. And he's opened up a very big lead over Kevin Davis in the 3rd string. Just grabbed the head pin, going by, almost picked up the strike. And this is the 9-pin that still stands.
Needs a 150 game for a 400 triple. And that is certainly well within reach here. Waiting for the wood to settle down. He'll probably take a direct shot at it.
No, he went to the pin.
Yeah.
He went to the deadwood. Another $20 in bonus money for Steve Vadney. He has 70 in this string, 120 in the match. And he has actually closed it out, hasn't he?
Mathematically, I believe you are correct, sir.
And Davis throws a spare. 2 marks in a row for Kevin, as he looks for some bonus money.
Well, we'll give him $175 for his efforts. Steve Vadney, meanwhile, goes on to bowl Sean Baker, a man he bowled against a couple of years ago.
Well, Davis finishing with a bit of a flurry here.
Too little, too late, however.
And he'll take $50 in bonus money. And he'll put a deuce in the spare. And he'll finish with a 160. 16, third string. Vadney already has won the match. Now we're seeing what he does with bonus money. He's breaking the bank is what he's doing. Another $20 shot here.
Starting out very slowly with 110, then 140. This game he'll be over that easily.
$20 added on to the bankroll of Steve Vadney. He has $140 in bonus money in the match. That time he missed the head pin, and that time he puts a deuce in the spare.
Well, he needs a couple more pins, one more for 400.
There's the one.
There it is. There's 400 on the nose.
He is at 150. 154, third string, a 404 for Steve Vadney to 356 for Kevin Davis. We'll come back to meet the bowlers after this from Leda Lanes in Nashua on WNDS TV's Candlepin Stars and Strikes. We're right back.
Third seed Steve Vadney advances to the next round with a 404 to 356 win over fifth seed Kevin Davis, and Vadney climbs the ladder.
Yeah, Steve started pretty slowly with a 110 game, but found his range in the second and third games with 140 and 154 for a 404 triple. I'm sure he's hoping he can hold on to some of those pins for next week because Sean Baker, a very formidable opponent.
Well, let's bring up the bowlers for you to say hello. Our runner-up this afternoon, Kevin Davis from Pembroke, New Hampshire. Kevin, congratulations. Here's a check for $175 for being the runner-up, and we have $50 in bonus money for you. If you're going to lose, you might as well lose to a 400 triple, I guess.
Yeah, you get beat by 50 pins, but I guess if I'm going to come back, I'm coming back as an eagle.
An eagle?
Yes, because I had plenty of them.
you spread the eagle a couple of times. We saw a lot of spread eagles this afternoon.
I made it once. I don't know if that was this match or the last match, and it was like, you know, maybe that got me out of the syndrome, but it didn't.
Well, it was a great performance by Kevin. Thanks very much. We'll look forward to seeing you again. Kevin Davis from Pembroke, New Hampshire, our runner-up here this afternoon. Now the bonus ball contest, and Steve Vadney will roll the ball down lane 33, and we'll try to match him up with a viewer at home and see how many pins Steve can knock over. And it is a 6 for Steve Vadney, and Steve will join us here on camera, and we'll pull out a card. And Mike Moran draws a card from Mrs. Margot Potvin from Guilford, New Hampshire, and she picked 8. We have a consolation prize for Margot Potvin, and we have 10 free strings of bowling for Mrs. Grace Brady of Manchester, New Hampshire, the second card drawn. A 400 triple 404 for Steve Vadney. After you've been on TV as many times as you have, do you still get butterflies when the first match starts, or is it something? Is it old hat to you by now?
Well, it should be old hat, but I think you still have the butterflies until you get 3 or 4 boxes into the match, and then it seems to smooth out a little.
110 in the first string, and then you turned it on. What happened that made you find the mark?
Well, I was a little heavy on the head pin, and I made an adjustment on the approach and started hitting 3/4 instead of full, and that seemed to work.
Next week you move up the ladder and you take on second seed Sean Baker. You've been in such matches like this before. Do you prepare differently from one match to the next?
No, same. Pretty much the same all the way through.
Warming up, when you warm up for an appearance on television, what do you try to accomplish?
I try to see how my accuracy is, how the ball's taken on the lane. I might have to adjust a little from my home lanes to these lanes, and that's basically where to stand to get my line of shot.
Is there much difference from lane 33 to lane 34 here at Leda Lanes?
Not too much for me. No, it's pretty much the same for me.
Well, we have some bonus money for you as well, $140, as well as an appearance next week, and we'll look forward to seeing you then. Okay. Steve Vadney, our winner here this afternoon, climbing the ladder, and he'll take on second seed Sean Baker next week.
And as a matter of fact, these two bowlers met back in November of 1997 when Steve Vadney defeated Sean Baker 374 to 359. Check the archives for that. So it's a rematch a year and a half later.
We look forward to seeing you for that match next week as Steve Vadney takes on Sean Baker. For Mike Moran and our entire WNDS TV 50 crew from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire, I'm Dick Lutz. Thanks for watching Candlepin Stars and Strikes, everyone. We'll see you next time on WNDS TV. So long.